Hey guys, so I already filmed one of these today, but I didn't like it. Had issues with my light and just wasn't. I had just gotten off the phone with therapy, and I think I was still in kind of like that mood. Um, so yeah, I am now going to film another one. Hi, I'm Cupid, and I have schizophrenia. Um, so today I want to talk about um, the difficulty with dating and some ways around it. Depression and schizophrenia, very common thing for people with schizophrenia. Um, I might get into the top causes of death if I have time, but I have a lot of information on that, and I don't know if I'll have time. And then maybe a story if I have time. So let's start off with the first one. Let's just get straight into it. I need to get a haircut, you guys. I really do. It's really annoying me. Too much hair. Anyways, let's get back to this. Let's get back. Let me focus. um, so difficulty with dating. I don't know if anybody else has found this, but it's really hard to date because I think people automatically assume, oh, that one's crazy, which really is frustrating because yes, I have crazy things that happen to me. I have crazy things that happen to me. Am I crazy though? I don't think I'm crazy. And you know what? I think that this is also an assumption because I have a hard time telling people that I'm schizophrenic because maybe I am scared that people will believe that. And maybe that's all in my head too. So maybe I'll be able to find a way around it. I I don't know. I like to date people that are um, have issues too. So it's not like I'm going out there and dating some person who doesn't have issues. I prefer to date girls that have issues, and I think that it's better if you have someone who has issues because then you guys can relate. Um, but it's not like I want all the attention on me either. That's another reason why I date someone with issues because I want to be able to take care of them as much as they take care of me. It's not, if not more sometimes, because there are going to be times where I'm going to probably have to take care of them more than they can take care of me. It happens, and the other way around. It happens, especially if you're going to spend the rest of your life with someone. And I feel like I'm getting old, so I'm at that point in my life where I need to settle down soon, but not interested in anyone, not dating anyone. Um, just kind of doing me, trying to learn to love myself again, getting myself to a good place where I can actually be the right person for the right person. Um, you know, that kind of stuff. But uh, yeah, like my hairdo. I was going with the Misfits do there. Yeah. So I've talked to some people, and they told me that a good way around it is not around it, but a good way to deal um, with it, is to be upfront with them. I've thought about putting on my dating profile just to weed out all the people that wouldn't be okay with it, but at the same time, I wonder if that's just too much information right up front before they get to know me. Um, but they say to be upfront, tell them the things that you might need, the things that they can do for you, and then just mention that it's not going to be all about you all the time. It's I think it's a misconception that it's like it's a severe diagnosis, so of course it's going to have to need severe attention, just like, but that's not true. Um, I think that people with schizophrenia, they can take care of themselves. And yes, in the times that it's really difficult, we may need someone to help us. Ugh, too much hair. Oh my god, can I just cut it off already? Sorry, I'm getting so annoyed with my hair right now. it's a distraction. I'm sorry, guys. I should stop distracting myself. Um, so yeah, I think there are ways that you can deal with it, and just one thing to keep in mind is that if someone doesn't accept you for it, you don't want them in your life anyways. And yeah, I think that I want them to get to know me first before they hear that, because I think if they know me as a person, then they'll understand that I'm a good person and I'm not like, you know, it's funny that it's a common misconception that we're violent. But I've learned, and I know this about myself as well, that most schizophrenics, if not all, I don't know if it's all, but are self harmers and not people who are violent towards others. This is very common for people with schizophrenia to harm themselves and not others. So I don't know. I think that people do need to know the information about someone with schizophrenia before they judge them too. Before they're like, I don't want to date you. I think you need to know these things. So maybe talk about the things that people are commonly misinformed about and go with it. Um, Moving on. Depression and schizophrenia. So 25% of people with schizophrenia have depression. And every one of them experienced depression at some point during their illness as well. Um, Mostly during psychotic episodes. Um, I don't know what I put there. That was didn't spell that right. So I have attempted suicide multiple times in my life. Overdose, cutting myself, many overdoses, cutting myself many times. I used to cut really deep. I still have like really massive deep scars. You can't really see it. I have one that goes down the vein. Um, I I don't know. I can't even tell you all the things that I've done. But I had good voices sometimes. Um, I It's weird because right before my um, I don't know. I had good voices at certain times throughout my life. Um, they were nice. They were good. They led me to the right places. But right before my third episode, for the 5 years before that, I had good voices. They were telling me to do certain things that led me to down a really good path. Certain things that they said would come true. Um, they they'd inform me of things that needed to be known, and they were always helpful. They were all helpful, and I was studying shamanism at the time, so I was, getting a lot of that energy from that, and I felt good. It was just like a great time in my life. And I think that's why I got so invested in the fact that my third episode was real. I got so invested in that idea, and it was like, it's weird because like my two other episodes I was still unsure what was real about them, but this one I was like, no, this has to be real. And I don't know, there were things that even during that episode came true. The things that they told me came true. The things that they told me to do, go down, walk down this path because blah, blah, something's going to happen over here, or you'll be, you'll get to this spot when you get done with this, path or whatever. And it was always true. And it was like, why am I not believing in more in it? But then there were certain things that I found out weren't real, and I don't know um, what how to differentiate what was real or why some of it wasn't real. I don't know how to, and that's what I've been working on with my book. That's something that I'm still working on to this day of trying to understand what was real and what wasn't. And I've been told don't focus on the past, focus on the future, and it's hard because I think that we use our past to understand our future, and maybe I need to know what was real back then to be able to know what is real in the future. I don't know. And that's what's frustrating for me because there are real ones sometimes. Like they are so real. And I think most of the time it was real for me. It's just, they weren't watching me. I know that. Not like I thought they were. Not real people watching me. Maybe spirits were watching me. definitely not real people on cameras. I don't know. It was it was hard. There's a lot of things that I found out weren't real, and it really hurt. I thought I thought I had this wonderful life going, from what I already had going on in my life. I thought that I had finally gotten to these great things that I had dreamt about that would happen for me, and then coming back from that reality, I realized those things weren't real. I wasn't successful in the field that I thought I was. I wasn't doing all the things that I thought I was doing. Like I thought I was all kinds of amazing things that I don't even know how to explain it. Like I don't want to put like the thoughts out there necessarily, but one thing I thought I was a successful book writer. I thought I was a psychic. I thought all kinds of things, and I thought I had a girlfriend, a future wife. I thought we were engaged and going to get married, and it's just hard to come back from that. So, and I've talked about that before. I don't think I have enough time to talk about the top causes of death. Um, so much information there, so I don't know if I have enough time for that. Um, I don't know. It's pretty interesting stuff, and I want to be able to talk about that. But it's very interesting, the information I found out about what the top causes of death are and why. Um, it's even more interesting, but you know what? I'm not going to get into it. So we'll wait. We'll wait on that one. So I'm going to get into my story. I think I've talked about this before a little bit. I don't know. I know that I did a video, was it yesterday, where I filmed it and then I couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear any of it. And I think that I talked about it in that video. But I don't know if I've talked about it in another video. So here I go. If you've heard it before, I'm sorry. I don't have the greatest of memory. And it's not like I watch all my videos right before I do a video. So sorry if I repeat things. I try to remember. Um, near the end of my last episode, I tried to commit suicide, overdosed. Um, on my way to the hospital, I kept passing out, and then like having to like shake myself awake. I thought I was dying. I literally did. My heart was slowing down. It was scary. And once I got to the hospital, people were talking about me, and it was like everyone was there because of my show. Like they were there to watch me. Like they were there for the show, like the show of watching me go through the things that they were forcing me to go through. And it was like the girl that I was with was having sex with someone else in the next room to get back at me for trying to commit suicide and other stuff like that. Um, and then there were people talking crap about me, saying these things about me as they walked by, and it was like I could literally hear them saying these things. So I didn't like it felt real. Um, I could hear them having sex in the next room too. Um, yeah, it's really hard to talk about that. So don't mind me and not wanting to go back over that. There's a lot of things that happened, and then once I um, once they put me in a room, because I was out in the middle of the hallway and there was tons of people, and they were all there for me to make fun of me for trying to commit suicide and all this stuff, and just talk crap about me because the things that happened. And then once I got into a room, I tried to run away because they were going to force me to feel things um, that I didn't want to feel, like physical things, like people touching me and sexual stuff. Um, and so I, I started running, and they tackled me, the guards, and held me down, and I kicked a guy in the face because I was like I'm leaving, so I kicked him in the face, I was kicking them. I didn't mean to kick him in the face exactly, but I was kicking them, and his face got in the way, so kicked him in the face. Because of that, I got put in the violent ward in the psych hospital. Um, and there's a lot of crazy stuff that happened. And on top of the crazy stuff that was happening um, in the ward were like fights. They told me to take out my piercings in case someone tries to rip them out. Um, there were creepy things. People were following people. Just I don't know, weird stuff was happening. There was TV talk on top of the real stuff. There was other stuff that were happening. The TV was talking to me. They were talking directly to me, making fun of my book, making fun of me, um, trying to talk about how the girl I was with deserves better and that I fucked up so hard. And then they were making me feel sexual stuff as well, and other things. Um, and they were saying stuff to me the whole time, just talking all kinds of stuff. I thought I was in purgatory. And I moved eventually out of that ward to another ward that wasn't violent, but I still had issues. And TV was still talking to me. I'd stay out of the room. I would stay out of the room where the TV was because I just didn't want to hear it. People would be talking about me as they walked by. Um, and it was like I could physically hear these things. It was, and like the people on the TV were physically talking to me. It wasn't like it was something that was like, it may have sounded like they were talking. No, they were talking to me. They were definitely talking to me. They were talking about me. Like it was um, too on point for it to not be for it to be about someone else. Um, and that still happens to this day. Like my music was talking to me earlier today, telling me to shut up, and it was like like it changes the words. I think that's what it was because like I've heard that song before. I never heard that before, but somehow it like changed the words and it. I heard "shut up" today. Um, yeah, that was interesting. Um, but yeah, so there was a lot of things. I thought I was in purgatory, and I freaked out on my mom, and they kept me longer because of that. Um, freaked out on them. I was like just like freaking out because I thought I was stuck in this void for the rest of time because I tried to commit suicide. Um, and I just, or because I committed suicide, I thought I was dead. You know. So there's my story, you guys. I want to leave it on a happy note, and it's really hard to think of happy things after talking about all of those dark things. Um, I know that it's hard to love yourself when all of this stuff is happening. And I think I've talked about this before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself again. Um, there are things that you can do though, like affirmations in the mirror. Um, Sorry guys, my video cut out on me, but what I was saying is that I just realized it while I was editing the video. It's really frustrating. So there are things that you can do. Train your thoughts into positive thoughts. That's one thing that I've found really helpful. Take those negative thoughts and turn them around into a positive. It really helps to love yourself in a better way. I'm working on it. I know it's not perfect. I know there's a lot of things that goes into loving yourself, and I know it's a long, hard process. But you can do it, um, and I hope you do because you deserve to be in this world. Definitely deserve it. And stay beautiful, stay wonderful, stay amazing, stay awesome, stay unique, stay you, and love yourself, you guys. Peace and love.